The Philadelphia Experiment, 1943. World War II was raging across the world. German submarines were attacking Allied ships. Watch the video until the end if you want to learn something new. The US Navy was looking for new ways to protect its fleet. But then, a strange story began to spread. A story about a secret Navy experiment. The goal? To make a warship invisible. The story became known as the Philadelphia Experiment. But did it really happen? Or was it just a legend? The story begins with a US Navy ship. Its name was the USS Eldridge. According to the legend, the Navy carried out a secret experiment in 1943. The experiment was said to take place near Philadelphia. The goal was simple: make the ship harder for enemy radar to detect. At that time, radar was becoming very important. If a ship could avoid enemy radar, it could have a huge advantage in war. According to the story, powerful electrical equipment was placed around the ship. The experiment began. And then, something strange supposedly happened. A green cloud appeared around the ship. Then, the ship disappeared. It was gone. But the story did not end there. Some versions of the story say the ship did not just become invisible. It supposedly appeared hundreds of miles away, in Norfolk, Virginia. That would mean something even more incredible. The ship had not only disappeared, it had somehow moved through space. In other words, it had supposedly been teleported. But then came the darkest part of the story. People claimed that the experiment had terrible effects on the crew. Some sailors were said to be trapped inside the ship's metal structure. Others supposedly suffered serious mental problems. And some were even said to have disappeared. It sounds like science fiction. But the story became famous for another reason. A man named Carlos Allende. In the 1950s, Allende contacted a writer named Morris Jessup. He claimed that he had seen the experiment. He described the ship disappearing. He also described strange things happening to the crew. Jessup became interested in the story, and over time, the story became more popular. Books were written about it, articles were published, and the Philadelphia Experiment became one of America's most famous mysteries. But there was one big problem. Where was the evidence? The USS Eldridge was a real Navy ship. The US Navy was also doing secret research during World War II. But there is no reliable evidence that the ship ever disappeared. There is also no solid evidence that it was teleported to another location. Historical records tell a different story. So, where did the legend come from? One possible answer is real military technology. During World War II, the Navy used a system called degaussing. It reduced a ship's magnetic signal. This helped protect ships from magnetic mines. But degaussing did not make ships invisible. It did not make ships disappear, and it certainly did not teleport them. Some researchers believe real military technology may have been misunderstood. Over time, the story may have become bigger and more dramatic. There is another reason the story became believable. The 1940s were a time of secret military projects. Governments were hiding new technologies. Radar was new. Electronic warfare was developing. And ordinary people had very little information about these projects. So a story about a secret experiment did not sound completely impossible. A mysterious Navy ship, a secret laboratory, powerful electrical fields, a strange green cloud, and a ship that supposedly vanished. It had everything needed to become a legend. But history needs evidence. And after decades of investigation, there is still no reliable proof that the USS Eldridge was ever made invisible. There is no solid proof that it was teleported. Because of this, most historians consider the Philadelphia Experiment a myth or an urban legend. But the story is still famous, and that raises another question. Why? Why did a story with so little evidence become so popular? Maybe it started with real military technology. Maybe someone misunderstood what they saw. Maybe the story was invented. Or maybe several different stories became mixed together. We may never know exactly how it began, but we do know one thing. The Philadelphia Experiment became part of American popular culture. It is a story about science, secrecy, and the unknown. The USS Eldridge probably never disappeared, but the legends surrounding it certainly did not. And perhaps that is the real mystery. Not how a warship disappeared, but how a story about a warship that probably never disappeared managed to survive for more than 80 years.